Welcome to Spiritual and Empowerment Living with international speaker, spiritual mentor, and best-selling author, Tia Johnson, as she discusses spiritual and women's empowerment topics to assist you in igniting your spirituality and empowering your quality of life. Let's welcome your host, Tia Johnson.
Hey there, Spiritual Trailblazer, and Merry Christmas! Wow, can you believe it is Christmas? Oh man, I really love this time of the year, and it is not just because of today, but just the overall theme of Christmas. So not just the exchange of presents, even though that's really fun to see people's eyes light up, their facial expression. But I love when people come together to do good things and have a good time. And it seems like it happens a lot during this time of the year. And the only other time I really see this happen, at least in the United States, and I know it happens in other countries, is during like another holiday. For example, 4th of July, we barbecue in the United States, and it's a great get together. So I love this time of year. It's magical. People are nicer. It's just the Christmas villages, so you could just walk down the street in this magical place with a cup of cocoa or latte in your hand, and people are laughing, and there's lights, and there's music. I just love it all. And now we get to the confessions of Tia. But before we get to this episode's confession, I am going to give you a little bit of that dose of spiritual info. All right, so Flower Therapy. This is the book that I'm using. Definitely get it. I love it because it has pictures in it, not just telling you, okay, the name of this flower and, here's what it's associated with. It's really cool to see what these flowers look like, because sometimes we see things and we don't know what it's called, as in my case all the time. So let's start off with the poinsettia. All right, they have the botanical name here. Energetic properties, finding and working towards your life purpose, inspiring others in celebration. Associated archangels, Haniel, Jophiel, and Raziel, associated with the crown chakra. A poinsettia is a traditional Christmas flower, which isn't surprising when you feel its energy. It will guide you on the path of your life purpose and make you happier with each step you take. How about that? And when you stray from your path, its energy will reel you back in. You can use this flower for the end of the year to recenter yourself, and the coming year will be filled with wonderful opportunities. How cool is that? So if you don't have a poinsettia, or you weren't quite sure why people buy them, and you thought maybe because it's red, well, there you go. Message from poinsettia. So in this book, it gives you the message from the flower, which I think is really cool. You have an amazing purpose on this planet. The angels and I have been sending you feelings to guide you. I is the author. So please follow your intuition and continue along the path of your life purpose. As you do so, a state of well-being will naturally come upon you, and this will create a beautiful ripple effect. When you live the life you wish, it inspires others and guides them onto their own divine path. And it quotes here, I'm also the flower of celebration. It's time to relax, have fun, and play. And I'm telling you, I had a great Christmas. I'm enjoying it. I love it. As I said earlier. Let's do one more flower. Let's do the sweet pea, because this helps with wishes. And as we are about to usher in the new year, I know that we have a lot of wishes for 2020. All right, here, manifestation. So this is the properties. Granting wishes and trusting in prayer. Associated archangels, Jophiel, Raziel, and Sandalphon. Associated chakras, root, sacral, and heart. And here's a description. This flower helps attract all your desires, and the things you need right now will come the fastest. You should always reach for the stars, the absolute best outcome that you can imagine. Try this method for granting wishes. Sit with some sweet pea seeds and really focus on your desire. Infuse the seeds with these loving intentions, then plant them in a garden bed or a pot. As the seeds sprouts and grow, reaching higher and higher, the energy they contain continues to build as well. When the blossom finally emerge, their energy will be sent to the universe and your wish will be granted. And here's the message. I can help you give birth to all of your exciting ideas and heartfelt desires. As I blossom, so too do your goals and aspirations. Accept these fulfilled wishes as a natural part of your life. You certainly deserve to receive them right now. You don't have to do anything else at this point. Simply focus on your wishes and trust that they are being delivered to you. Believe that anything is possible and miracles are just an everyday occurrence. You can live the life you desire. How lovely is that? I felt better reading that. So, whew, that was, I felt great. But we do have to get to the confession. And so I thought long and hard about this confession, as I do each and every confession. I want to make sure that it isn't just me telling you about some life story. I really want you to benefit from it. And so what I've been noticing is that people are doing the 10-year challenge in a way where they just reflect on a decade. And I have to tell you that I have made some significant changes in my life. And at times I still feel like there's more. Okay. And so this confession leads me to realizing that it's okay. That's it. It's okay. Meaning, I can look back on the last 10 years and 10 was so 2009, I was midway through my 2-year healing journey, figuring out, who the hell am I really? My grandparents had passed away, so I was really grieving from that. Um, just really looking at my purpose and asking myself if I was really living my life. And so this confession is just really about me living my life and making sure that I'm living my life. And I am nowhere near perfect. Of course, some things don't get as much attention as others. But what I have realized over the years is that the more I became quote unquote selfish in a lot of areas, as some people would say selfish, the more I set boundaries, the more I looked in the mirror. And I had to say this because there was a time where I really didn't look in the mirror much. And I know some people find it hard to believe because I wear makeup now and I do all these things that I didn't do 10 years ago. But really is really making sure that I live my life according to me every day, as often as I can. And there have been so many times where I didn't do that, where I derailed and I had to bring myself back in. And in doing so, I realized that I need markers in life to remind me to stay on course. And I'm not just talking about, having people who want you to succeed no matter what. I'm talking about designing your home in a way that will remind you of things. I'm talking about, so for example, for me, I have some tattoos that remind me of who I am and my purpose. So I have a goddess tattoo, and I have um, elements symbol, just because it just helps me to remember the connection I have with the elements. It helps me to remember that the connection I have with myself and the goddesses. And so making sure that I'm living my life means that there are things that I don't do. There are places I won't go. There are some conversations that I just choose not to have with certain people because they can't have a conversation. Some people are just so emotionally charged that they want to just prove to you that they're right. And that used to be a really hard pill for me to swallow because I wanted to be friends with everyone. because I thought, hey, I'm a cool person. I'm sure I could find some commonality with someone else, with anybody. Like, it shouldn't be an issue, but it is an issue. And I had to get over the fact that I'm not going to be everyone's friend. I can't be everyone's friend. And being on this spiritual journey of helping women to remember who they truly are, tapping into that goddess energy within, really diving into your powers, your strengths, speaking up, being supportive of other women, wanting to do all that. I also understand that I won't vibe with certain people. I understand that I also had to be personally accountable for myself. And when I'm not being creative, when I'm not making time for myself, I feel it. I don't feel it right away because it happens so subtle. It's a subtle thing that happens, but it might take like about a week or so, and I'm just like, oh my gosh, no wonder I'm irritable. I haven't created anything. I haven't um, wrote something that's creative. Even though I write a lot of notes here and there about some of the ideas, but far as writing them out, getting more descriptive. And that's what I just want to make this confession about is, making sure that I'm truly living my life, because it's so easy to get derailed. And I have gotten derailed many times. And that's okay, because the thing about getting derailed is that in this sense, you can always get back on track. Okay. And if you catch yourself early enough, it's easier for you to get back on track than it is just to keep going and going and going, because then it's going to be harder. Not saying that it can't be done, but it most for certain be harder. And it's also caused me to look more into the future, which is fun, but also a little bit unnerving. And make sure that you listen to the next couple of episodes, because I'm going to do the best of, and also I'm going to pull some oracle cards for 2020. So, it's one thing to have a lot of plans, and it's another thing to be on the road to make that happen. And I have a lot of plans for future endeavors, but I have to start right here. And that's part of how I got derailed, is because I have all these ideas for the future. And so I'm telling you this because I know, as someone who listens to this podcast, you have a lot of things that you want to get done. You have a lot of places that you want to go. There are things that you just want to do. There's someone who you want to be, like the best version of yourself. But if we're not cautious, we get caught up in wanting to make sure that other people are also doing that, to the point where we don't realize that we aren't doing it, because we're so busy helping a lot of people. We have all these ideas, and we break ourselves up in five different ways, to make these things happen. But we get spread out too thin, and before we know it, X amount of money gets spent, X amount of energy gets spent, X amount of people are, telling you this and telling you that. And it's just a lot of hands in the pot, or a lot of cooks in the kitchen, a lot of hands in the cookie jar, I should say. And it's a spiral effect. So this is a great time to bring it all back, which is why I did the Roaring 2020s episode, and I kept it short, because you don't want to just wait for the end of the year to do the big reflection. You want to do a reflection bi-weekly or once a month, because you start to forget a lot of things. And you can do an overarching reflection of the year and yourself. But the thing is, we are constantly doing things. We are constantly having to show up for so many people in so many ways, that we don't end up living for ourselves a lot of times. Even some of the wealthiest people, because I read about them, they have to take time off. Some of them don't take time off because they're just so in their zone of genius getting things done. And then you hear about breakdowns and things like that. So it happens at all levels. We just have to be aware of ourselves so we can make time to take the time off. I totally understand that not everyone can just say, oh, I'm taking a day off. But if you can plan for it at least once a month, to take a Friday, a Monday, a Wednesday, like once a month you take off on a Friday, or once a month you take off on a Wednesday, something like that. And you allow yourself to have a long weekend. Okay. And that may mean putting some people on notice. For example, if you have children, like, okay, I need time, I need space, give me a day, give me Friday and I give you Saturday or Sunday. Um, but yeah, I just want to level with you guys because it's, as I say, it's real out here. And wanting to do a lot and wanting to be a lot means that sometimes you get lost in doing just that, and you have to regroup, heavily regroup. And that's okay. Regrouping, getting back on track, getting back on a bandwagon, that doesn't mean that you lost. It means that you were smart enough to realize that, wait a minute, this is going in a direction that is not for the betterment of me and other people potentially. So let's go back to the drawing board. And the thing is, that may take a couple of months for you to get everything together and back on track. That's okay. Some people get afraid when they hear things like that. Like, it's going to take how long? What? It happens to the best of us. Okay. And I don't want to sound like a Debbie Downer on Christmas, but I know that this is a perfect time for this confession of, am I truly living my life? Because, and are you truly living your life? Because holiday season can easily get people stressed, overwhelmed, feeling inadequate. A lot of emotions pop up. And then what does that do? It filters over to the next year. We don't want that. No, 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 no. Listen to last week's episode, The Winter Goddess, okay? What needs to stay? What needs to go, okay? This is all about cycles. Take a deep breath. Whew. It's okay to want to do things that have also nothing to do with your center focus. For example, let's say you want to be a writer. All right, you're writing, you write blogs and articles and other platforms. But let's say you want to take up dancing. It has nothing to do with writing. That dancing is your outlet. You may get inspired while dancing. Okay? Doing new things that have nothing to do with the main focus is also healthy. So don't feel bad if, for example, there's a meme that's been floating around for years, and it goes something like, while you were watching TV, while you're watching your TV show, I'm building my empire. Okay, well, your empire isn't going to be built in 45 minutes to an hour. Okay, even if someone's binge watching a show that has 3 seasons on Netflix, and it takes them a weekend to finish it, guess what? Your empire isn't being built in 2 to 3 days. Sometimes we get in a space where we have to disconnect, we have to detach. And sometimes that's 7 days, sometimes that's a weekend. But then when you come back, oh man, you're a force to be reckoned with. I know, because that's what happens to me sometimes. Sometimes I have all the plans to get things done ahead of time, and then it's just like the mood's not there. I don't have my notepad right beside me. It happens sometimes. And I want you to know that that's okay. All right. Because I know so many of you listen to this podcast, and I'm just being real with you. One of my one of my good friends, he starts conversations with, "I'm gonna be real with you, Tia," and and I just want to be real with you guys, and I because I know that people know what other people go through. Generally speaking, like, oh, of course, everyone has a bad day. Yeah, but people don't see those bad days, and understandably, cool. But I want to, as always with these confessions of Tia, pull back the curtains and let you know that I get derailed often. And I pull myself back. Okay. Uh, whether it's me pulling myself back looks like me talking to my best friend, talking to my project manager, where she's just like, Tia, no squirrel syndrome. Okay. Whether it's me just writing down my thoughts and not looking at it anymore. Just look at it later. Just get the idea out of my mind, get it on paper, and then boom, go back to focus on what works. It looks like me getting dinner with a friend. It looks like me visiting my best friend. It looks like me going in the steam room at the gym. It looks like so many things. And I encourage you to find out what it looks like for you to reel yourself back in. Okay, it has to be particular to you. All right. So don't feel bad. Even if this year didn't end the way you wanted it to end, even if Christmas Day didn't happen the way you planned it to be, know that you can change it. Yes, it's going to take some time. I wouldn't tell you, oh yeah, don't worry about it. Of course you'll bounce back. But it may take you 3 months. It may take you longer. It may take you 2 months. I don't know. Everyone's on their own path. Everyone runs at a different pace, but it can be done. And that's the second thing you need to know. First is it's okay. And the second is it can be done. All right. So that's my confession for you about, am I truly living my life? The answer is yes, but there's room for improvement. And the reason why there's room for improvement is due to the fact that I had to reel myself back in, and that I know the master is always the student. I will always be the student. I will never know everything. I will never be able to do everything. Even if I had the most dynamic dream team in the world, it's still not going to happen. Okay. And that's something that we all need to recognize is it's just okay. I've seen so many posts about mom, like mom guilt, and what's the perfect mom, and mom. Listen, you're going to forget your kid's picture day. Okay, you're going to forget about something. You're going to be late for something, yeah, and you're still living your life. Okay, and I can't even tell you how many times I drew a blank when I went to a store and they asked me for my phone number, and I just say, "Oh, I'm sorry, I'm drawing a blank right now." And I had the same phone number for, I don't know, maybe a decade now, and sometimes I draw a blank because I had to remember a bunch of numbers. So yeah, it's going to happen. Does that make you a horrible person? No. If you get derailed in life, does that make you a loser? No. A failure? No. No, it means that life happened. But that means you also have a chance to get it right. And that's what I leave with you today. The two flowers. So get your sweet pea and your poinsettia. And you know what? Just practice being a little bit easier on yourself, okay? Life is, people say life is easy, and I believe that to a certain extent. Life is not, life gets easy when you have certain things that are valuable to you. And I'm not just talking about money, because you have to protect your money. Okay, I can't imagine how some people have to protect their money. Okay, I'm talking about also the people in your life, what you do on a day-to-day basis. Okay, forget about having things set up so perfectly. That's nice, but enjoy it. Okay, enjoy it. All right. So again, Merry Christmas. Okay, don't be so hard on yourself. And even if the day didn't work out the way you wanted to, go get a latte. Just go drive down the street, get a latte, and take your time getting back home. Okay, or walk if you can walk if it's close enough. Walk, take your time getting back home. All right. Spend some time with yourself. Give yourself a pat on the back. Give yourself a hug. Give yourself a little kiss on the back of the hand. All right. All right. So stay tuned for the last 2 episodes for this year. All right, which are the best of for 2019. So that's going to be the top 10 episodes for this year, which is very important because you may want to check them out. Again, just like when you watch a movie, you see something for the second time or you hear something for the second time, and it just sinks in a little bit deeper. And then I'm going to pull some oracle cards for the theme of 2020. That's always fun. All right. I'm sending you so many blessings. I'm rooting for you, and be kind to yourself. Until next time.
Thank you for joining Spiritual Living and Empowerment with Tia Johnson. Don't forget to subscribe and tune in to the next show. Want to continue the conversation with Tia? Follow her on Twitter, Instagram, and Periscope at Tia_Johnson_. Have a wonderful day filled with many blessings.